Hey World Changers, it's Monet with Tick Life, and today I'm going to be talking about my work plans. Before I jump into how I use work plans inside of my classroom, I first want to talk about the difference between centers and work plans. To save us time, I'm going to put up a T-chart of the major differences because I feel like that would be the best way to explain. So these are major differences that I could think about in comparing the two. So what you can do is pause the video, look at the T-chart, kind of get a better understanding, and then once you have it under your belt, just press play and watch the rest of the video. So I hope the T-chart gave you a better understanding of the differences. So now I want to talk about grow time in my classroom. Last year I developed the acronym GROW. And my tasks reflect the acronym. So G stands for guided practice, R is for read to self, O is for observe and apply, and W is for world connection. I am going to put a picture of my work plan for the upcoming school year. And so as you see at the top, I have the week of, so students always know which one they're working on. And then underneath I have a table. Inside of the table I have the name of the task, the standard, the skill, the description. And I do that because I literally want students to be able to take this out and start working without hesitation. They know where to go to get their items because everything in my room is labeled, and it just creates this smooth train, right? It also promotes choice because students are not told work on G today, work on W today. They choose what they want to work on first, and they also have this week to complete it. And then once they complete their must-dos, which would be the GROW activities, they have may-dos. So students never interrupt me when I'm doing reading conferences, RTI, writing conferences, strategy groups, or guided reading, because they know once I finish my must do, I'm going to go ahead to my may do's, and those are a little bit more funner and lighthearted. Then I have my reminders. Sometimes I will grade, sometimes I will need certain activities as we get closer to a grading period. So I may say, okay guys, in the reminder, G and R are due on Wednesday before the end of the day, and that's just a box that I like to have. It could be project based, just anything they need to know for that week, I put it in the reminder spot. And so that's what the GROW plan looks like. I give this on Monday. I print it out and I put it in their hands. Everybody's work plan is not the same, so the way that I do that is with the guided practice piece. A lot of times that text is going to be matching their ability level. Last year I chose 3 texts, one that was below reading level, on reading level, and above. And then as I got a better feel for their letters, I might choose a M text, I might choose a J text, and then a L or M text, and then like a S text or like a R text, right? And so what I would do is the letters that are closest to J, boom, this is for you. And then M, this is for you. Like, so that would be like L, N, O would be with M, and then I would have my R, and that'd be the Q, ST, right? Because I don't want them to be frustrated while they do the task. I want them to, be comfortable with it, okay? Because I need to see if they can apply the strategy to their appropriate text. And I like that. That worked. That was very simple for me to do. Last year I used a website called Super Teacher Worksheets, and then also I use Reading A to Z, and sometimes I'll pull my text from there. So those are my 2 primary pots that I would pull my text for guided practice out of. For R, that was read to self, so that's where you kind of see that daily 5 come in. But I would have students read out of their book bins, and then they would complete a task off of the tic-tac-toe board, and the activities on the tic-tac-toe board would change. So again, they're getting choice. And I also told students, if you use your 20 minutes a day to read, because I had some readers last year, then don't worry. That means the next day you don't need to read, you need to be doing your activity from your tic-tac-toe board. And I would have them do 2 to 3. A lot of students will only do 2, but I did have some overachievers that wanted to do 3, and I didn't mind because the task on the tic-tac-toe board, they don't take a long time to do. So it could be summarize your chapter, make connection, infer, predict. It could be make a comic strip. It could also be to write a sequel introduction, to write a introduction to the sequel. So just fun, creative things that don't take a lot of time, but again, practice what we're working on within the classroom. O is observe and apply. So I would have students watch videos, maybe from Learnzillion. I know if you were math, maybe you could do Khan Academy. Maybe you could do Flowcabulary. So students would watch a video, and then using the strategy from the video, they would apply it to a text. Again, I'm reading, so that's why you hear this word text over and over and over again. But they would apply it. If you were math, then it could be a Khan Academy video on adding 2-digit, 3-digit numbers, and then you have a set of problems. So they will observe the video and apply it. And it's not, again, they only have 20 minutes of grow time. So you don't want 50 questions. For me, it was 1 text and 2 or 3 questions. If I was math, depending on the ability of the student, because it is differentiated, maybe one plan has 5 problems with the video. Another one has 10. You just have to gauge it according to your students' needs. The W is for world connection. I teach English and social studies, so I like to make sure my students are doing current events. And it could be things, articles or news locally happening in Atlanta or the state of Georgia. I know last year we had Scholastic, and it talked about different things from California and New York, and so I like that it just merged so many key things that I think are important to a well-rounded learning environment. So that's where the world connection comes in. Definitely include digital learning. So I know iStation was really big. So that 1 week, it could be a part of my observe and apply. But then also, I could put it in my may do. And so, there's a lot of flexibility when it comes to a work plan. Students knew exactly how to do it because, again, in the description task, that's where I would tell students, hey, today you are reading this. After you read, complete questions 1 through 5. Once you have completed 1 through 5, turn it into the guided practice slot. And so I had a turn in bin that said guided practice, and students put their name and number in the corner and they turned it in, and that's where I would grade it. I personally like that because I didn't get papers all at one time. I feel like when people turn in things in bits, it just makes it easier. So looking at the work plan, again, you have the week of, you have the must do's and the grow task, and then you have may do's and you have reminders. I like this because, again, they're independent, they don't interrupt me, and so as I am working with small groups, I can focus, and students are literally on task. Students may collaborate, but they don't have to. Work plans definitely promote accountability and time management, and accountability and productivity. Students, when they work together, they know that it can only be 2 or 3. Anything over 3, even if they whisper, I'm going to hear. I do practice flexible seating, so students may be working at a table, they may be working under a table, they may be working in a corner, they could be working outside in a hall. I don't care, as long as they are on task and they're being productive like that. They're on a level 1, because again, this is everybody's work time. When I say grow time, it's work time. And so yeah, that's typically how we do it. So students can collaborate or they can choose to work independently. It all, it's all on them. I know some students, in the beginning, sometimes they like to work with their peers, but maybe their peer doesn't have the same guided practice story, so they can't work with that person. So that kind of pushes them to find other people that are on their ability level, and they collaborate. When it comes to grading, because some people are like, well, what do you grade? How much does it weigh? So guided practice, I grade as classwork. Read to self, I count as participation points. Observe and apply, I count that as a classwork assignment. And then the W, world connection, I count that as class participation. So that's how that goes. The may do's, they may get to it, they may not get to it. So of course those aren't really in my grade book, because it would be unfair to have some people with checks and some people without checks. So I don't really worry about that. I do like to put digital learning activities inside of my must do's. So for the O and W, I might put my read theory on there. Students know that they must do 5, and I basically make them responsible for 3. So out of 5, the highest 3 scores I'm going to add and divide by 3, and that average is what I'm going to put into my computer. Really quick and easy. Everything, just because I say I'm graded it doesn't mean it's going to take a lot of time. So the last thing I want to say is, at the end of the week, when we turn everything in by the end of our class period or the end of our grow time, if a student did not complete one of the letters, I give them a ticket. On the ticket, I write the task they did not complete, and you will have a 0 until it is turned in. Each day it is late, 10 points will be deducted. That's how I do it. And then once they turn it in, typically they do it over the weekend. I don't do homework over the weekend because I feel like people need to rest on the weekend. But typically they do it over the weekend, and by Monday I have it and I take 10 points off. So that's how that works. And that's how I also track other late assignments. Once something is due on my class, I basically, look to see, have everybody turn it in. Once I see that a student has not turned it in, I give them a ticket by the end of the day. The way that I know that, usually when it comes to assignments, they always turn them in at the beginning of class. I like to do that because I have had students try to do their homework and projects and assignments during my lessons and my class. I don't like that. So to zero that out, students know at the beginning of class they turn in all assignments, and so that gives me time during my planning or during whatever time during the day. Again, I just go through those papers and I'm checking them off to see has everybody turned it in on time. And when I see that something is missing, I have my tickets. I write the student's name, the assignment, and I highlight this will be a 0 until you turn it in. And then I give it to them. Again, they usually do it and they staple that ticket to the activity. So when they put it in the bin, I know, hey, this must be something late. I go grade it, and I replace the 0 with whatever their average is. So that's how I handle late work and things of that nature. I feel like whatever you do, whether it be centers or work plans, those activities really need to be enriching, and it really needs to be purposeful. If it's not purposeful, students get a hold of that, and then it's like, I don't want to do it. I want to talk. I want to misbehave. Yeah. No, not in my class. So I hope that this video has been really helpful. The last thing I'm going to say, just for a bang for your buck, on the back of my work plans, I usually put the homework for the week. I don't give homework on Fridays unless it is a major project, and I may tell students don't forget to work on your project and remind them of the date of the project. But I don't do Friday homework because typically you're going to be doing extracurricular activities, traveling, things of that nature. That's family time. I like to give people a break. So on the back of my work plans, it says nightly practice. That's just my terminology because sometimes people see homework and they just go to a negative mind place. So I just don't put that anymore. But so for nightly practice, it says Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I tell them what they need to do. I talked about it a little bit on my Instagram live that I usually give the same text each night with different activities to match the text. I do that because studies do show that when students look at a text repeatedly, it increases retention of the skill and vocabulary. So that's how I get the bang of my buck. So they keep this work plan all week, and I typically tell them when they turn in their assignment, staple it, put it in, we go from there. So that just kind of explains how I do work plans and homework within my class. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, you already know to put them in the description box below. You know I gotta say it. If you have not subscribed, this is the time to do it. Go ahead and press that red button and hit that bell. That way whenever I put something up, you can check it out. Don't forget to like if you really enjoyed the video and share it with your peers. If you don't follow me on Instagram, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and follow me at tic_life, because as you just heard, I do go live on there quite often, and I also share activities and designs and things of that nature on my Instagram feed, and that's how you get your bang for the buck. So thank you again for watching today's video. Question of the day: will you be doing centers, or do you think you're going to be brave and create work plans for your upcoming school year? Or if you're not going to do any of it, share why. Like, why aren't you going to carve out time in your class where students are busy while you are doing small groups or interventions? So I hope that question makes sense, because it sounds like a lot, but it's really not a lot. And I will check you guys out soon. So thank you for watching today's video, and continue to tick on.